Hello, what's up, everybody? Just wanted to do a quick update for the end of week 3 on this account. Uh, Things are starting to come along pretty nicely. I'm starting to see the end of some of these early farms. None of the ones that take actual energy, but like Cantina energy farms are coming along, and then some of the shops I'm already done. So the two squads that I'm basically putting effort into in the early game to use for dark side battles, light side battles, and then like Galactic War and Squad Arena are Imperial Troopers and Rogue One. Jin Urso has just not shown up in the shop for like the past 3 or 4 days, so I'm really close to having her unlocked. Next time she shows up, I'll be able to unlock her, and then I'll have everyone unlocked. The plan is basically to prioritize gear on troopers first, and I'm keeping them under leveled for the time being, which is hurting me a bit in Squad Arena, but is helping a lot in Galactic War. I believe Galactic War is based on your galactic power. So if I level everyone up to, I'm like 59 right now, so I'll unlock ships once my day refreshes, actually. I'll get up to level 60. Um, I just prefer to have that Galactic War currency streaming in, which is why I'm kind of artificially keeping my galactic power a little bit lower right now. But as soon as I hit the appropriate levels to get them up to gear 8, so 60 here, 63 here. So once I'm level 63, I'll sink some money into Veers, get them up to gear 8, and do the same thing along this row. After that, I'm going to just sort of move and do the same thing here. I'm hoping, although I kind of doubt that it'll come along this quickly, that I'll be able to basically prep all the gear I need up here. And then before I'm level 63, I'll also be prepping gear down here to level everyone up. Got Piet. That's a change from last week. He's been really nice. One of the benefits of all of the changes that have happened in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes to make it a little bit easier to onboard onto the game means I feel like I have more resources than I did when I was building up my main account, however long ago that was. So just the Galactic War store or the web store, that free daily pack gives you 50 crystals, gives you some cash. It also gives you ability mats. So I am not really constrained on ability mats if all I'm worried about are 2 squads for the time being, which is pretty much what I'm pumping like gear and ability materials into, is just these 2 squads. And then I've got some sort of backups that I had leveled up a little bit so I could use them in Galactic War in those early days. So like the Mon Mothma farm is paused for the time being. I was farming her before I had access to farming Queel and Piet, I think. And then Biggs I was farming before I could farm Gideon on Cantina, and Kyle Katarn is just the login bonus here. So the other farms that I'm doing right now, basically, I was able to start in on a new farm in the Galactic War store. So K2SO is 7 stars. Basically, the order of operations I'm using for all of the stores is Rogue One character first, Bounty Hunters second, Phoenix third. So I'm on my second Galactic War store character. That's Cad Bane. I'm not going to use him for a while, so he's just going to sit here at however many stars, probably 7 stars really soon. The nice thing about this account and keeping this GP low might be the secret is I've been able to clear Galactic War every day except one, I think, since it's been unlocked. So I've been able to make 3 purchases every day, which at 10 a pop, that's 30 a day. That's 11 days to 7-star character, which is like just so fast when you compare it to every other method in the game. So the Galactic War store got Cad Bane right now. I'm about to hit level 60, which is I think when ships start to show up in the Galactic War store. So I may in fact pause farming characters out of it and just use all my currency on ships for a little while. What I'm trying to do basically is you need 5-star ships, mostly dark side, but you can use a combination of both once you have the event unlocked in order to actually finish that ability mats daily challenge on ships that gives you zetas. and I just want to get those as soon as I can. So I'm just going to dump resources that I need to get those ships to 5 stars and then 6 stars, so I can start actually farming Zetas sooner rather than later. So Cad Bane is unlocked and will be usable, but I might pause this farm a little bit once I can start farming ships out of that store, given that this is a pretty ships forward account. Dengar, I've started sinking a little bit of guild activity currency in because he shows up in the shop and Jin doesn't. I've got enough banked up, so for like the next, if Jin shows up 3 times, I think 4 times in a row, and I get no more guild activity currency, I can still buy her every time. So I'm probably going to pause on Dengar for a bit and just hold out hope for Jin. But we're going to need him eventually. I was getting a little antsy, and I had like over 3,000 guild activity tokens, and I was like, I'll just start farming Dengar right now. It's not going to come back to bite me. I'll still be able to buy Jin whenever she shows up. So I've been putting a little bit into here. You need him relicked for the Executor event. He's good. My plan is to put him with the Beskar Armor Mando team once that gets unlocked. So we'll get use out of him. And then the next 2 that I would be farming are Boba Fett out of the Cantina store, I think it is, and then IG-88 is the Squad Arena store. IG-88, I think, is definitely going to get farmed. If Cassian's U-Wing is showing up in the Cantina store at level 60, I just honestly don't remember when it starts being available for purchase, then I probably will wait on Boba Fett. That's kind of the shape of things for how my characters are coming along. We are actually farming ships. Early days, but the IG-2000 is farmable right now, and the Imperial TIE Bomber is farmable right now. So I imagine the IG-2000 is going to be putting in some work for me in the early days of the ship missions, because I won't have access to some of the ships that my higher gear characters will actually use for a while. It would be great if Cassian's U-Wing is in the Cantina store, because I have both Cassian and K2SO at high stars, as high gear as I can get them. So that would be wonderful. Early ships, my memory is basically like coherency doesn't matter a ton when you're level 60, and it's instead just trying to put money and resources into your pilots and your ships and brute forcing through that early part of the game. So I'm a little curious about how this sort of long-term approach will impact the short term of actually using ships and Fleet Arena and not really having anything coherent at level 60. I don't really know of a way that I could get a coherent fleet together this early without spending money. So I think we're just going to have to use a hodgepodge of ships for a little bit while everything else comes into focus. The nice thing, once we get the Imperial TIE Bomber unlocked, you need 80 shards to unlock it, so it'll be a while. But it's pilotless, so that'll be a nice thing to just slot in with our fleets for a while as we're building up all the ships and pilots that we need. So that's about the shape of things right now for the account. I'm going to go over to that spreadsheet that I put together to track my farm. I will say where I've noticed this account lacking is Squad Arena right now. I have a couple battles left today that I'm going to knock out and just try and... I'm trying to save and bank these 2 battles plus the 5 after the reset to see if I can push into the top 1,000 if I have 7 total battles to do so. Right now, I'm totally hovering very comfortably about 1,500, so I'm not in danger of getting less. But it would be really great to increase our purchasing power a little bit by getting that extra 100 and staying comfortably within the top 1,000. But I don't know how easy that is if I'm not leveling up my characters to keep my Galactic War easy. So that's sort of the balancing act I'm doing. Maybe an ill-advised one, but we'll see. Just using Imperial Troopers here. I'll probably play around with Rogue One once I get Gen unlocked, because I just have like higher stars on those characters, so they're just naturally hitting a little bit harder and are tankier than my troopers, which are mostly regular farms, so they're, you know, somewhere between 2 to 4 stars. I did open another Bronzium card with a full Veers in it. So I've just gotten 100 shards, which is lucky and great for this account, but I wouldn't expect anyone else to be able to replicate that. So his farm is moving along very fast as a result of just getting 100 free shards. So that is the account so far. I'm gonna pull up this here sheet. For those who maybe haven't seen this, I just threw together everything that I will need 7-starred that I have to use energy to get, to try and calculate this raw farm days, and some of these raw values over here are just at the start of this farm. I would expect it to take, if I'm farming 6 characters a day, it'll take me about 633 days to get everything on this list that isn't a Cantina farm finished and up at 7 stars. And then Cantina is 258 days. So I compare where we were at the start and what the expectation was against where we are now, basically. So I have 188 days left until my Cantina farm is finished. That's the expectation. That's not counting in refreshes. That's not counting getting extra Cantina energy from the web store pack, which happens about a quarter of the time, basically. So this should move a little bit faster. But the interesting thing that I just added in here, and as always, the link is in the description of this video if you want to duplicate this for yourself, play around with it, maybe put your own farm in here, is I added in, so this account is 24 days old. It started on December 29th. It is the 22nd today. So basically, added in a delta between what the expected value would be and where we actually are. And then this is the days above or below our expected value. So if it's a positive number, it means we're ahead of schedule. So I'm basically about a month ahead of what we would have expected at the start, in terms of shards I've gotten and the value I've gotten from that. And I am a month and a half ahead of schedule in the Cantina. So things are moving faster than expected. I think probably a combination of getting lucky on some drops, opening up those Veers really helped a lot, and then it's just the result of getting stuff through odds and ends and like daily login rewards, which characters we need, so on and so forth. So that is where the account stands right now. I'm happy to see we're ahead of schedule. I merely have to wait a year and a half in order to have all these at 7 stars as it stands right now. Should happen next August. But I think it will just, this number will keep getting bigger. I think we'll keep outpacing the expected value just because there's other ways to get shards in this game. And I don't quite know how to track them on a spreadsheet, but that would be an interesting thing to put together.